Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast. I am excited to be, this is our final episode of season 2, and I have somebody very special with me. But before we jump in, y'all know I gotta do some shout outs. So my first shout out is going to Sheena Dawkins of Reen Ovations Studio, which is where we are recording. Can we give her a round of applause? This studio is my absolute favorite. It is amazing. It is Black owned, it is woman owned, and I am on a mission to make sure that everybody knows that it is here in downtown High Point. So if you have not been here, please check them out. Their social media sites all are just Reen Ovations, and please, please, please support. Their art is for sale. So even for our audience today, please make sure that you look around. Everything in here is for sale. If you're looking for a space for an intimate setting, Sheena is it. So please make sure that we support. Alrighty. I also want to say thank you to our partner, Sip with Sherry, for the amazing, y'all, I know. Yes. These two are our two top first partners that we have, and so we are grateful for them. So please check them out. Make sure you follow Sherry on social media. She may be in before we leave so that you guys can meet her, but just make sure that you partner them. If you are someone out there, if you have a service or a product and you would like to partner with us, we'd like to partner with you. So please send us an email to transparencywithtiffany@gmail.com. Alrighty. We're gonna jump in. We'll do some more shout outs at the end. But today I have a special guest with us. I am calling her my wild card because we're gonna talk about our topics. We are focused on this session of finding my voice and talking about me first as a part of the movement for this year. But we're gonna talk about some other things like friendship and just some other things. So I have with me my friend, my soror, just somebody that's, I know, right? We ain't get no picture, but we have to do that for everybody that's left. Attorney Kim Gatling.
Thank you.
Did you do, I know that's right. Okay. Thank you for being here with me, for saving me today. Like you do on many occasions.
You are welcome.
I really was gonna get some tissue. Oh, somebody, the Lord did that. But I'm gonna try not to cry, but just in case, I got some tissue here. Before we jump in and get into the deep of the questions, tell us your favorite food.
Ooh, popcorn.
Me too. Do you like skinny popcorn?
I love skinny popcorn.
Oh, this is why we are kindred spirits for real. Let me tell you, girl, I love it, and my family thinks that I am crazy. I love it.
I love all popcorn.
I do too. Sip with Sherry, the popcorn is gone now, but we did a podcast watch party at home, and she bought the popcorn in. Girl, I was like, honey, what? Yes. Okay, I knew we was going. What do you do in your spare time? I mean, I know you don't have a lot, but...
Sleep.
Yes. Okay, good answers. Tell us one thing about you that we'd be surprised to know.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I shared one with you when we were just catching up earlier. I was so dedicated to going to one particular college my entire life that I graduated at the top of my class in high school, and I'm sure I would have had many options, but I applied to one school, the North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
Okay. No
Aggie pride.
So I'm not gonna spill it all the way, but Kim and I were just talking because my son has made a decision on school, and it was not the one that I wanted, but we'll announce that later. So, yes, nice. Any regrets? I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness, not a one. To this day, so thankful.
Good. All righty. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. So I want to tell you how I met Kim, and this is kind of a part of how we are Wild Card. So we've talked a lot about the Fisher Projects. That is my passion. It is, I work my job so that I can have the Fisher Projects. But whenever we started, I did not have a board. And so in searching for a board, I had, many of you may know Jackie Jackson was helping me, as well as Mike McNair. And they said, who is somebody behind the scenes that you admire that you don't know? Ask them. And I know Commissioner Foster talked to us earlier about no, and asking people and how no to. And so I had admired you from afar for so long, but I did not know Kim. And so I sent Kim a message. I know you don't know me, but hey girl, I'm starting this nonprofit. I'm looking for a board member and I'm just interested. And Kim said no. She did not say no. She told me she was busy and that she didn't really have the time to be on the board, but she would talk to me. She's let me talk to you and find out about what you're doing, and let's see if we can find you somebody. And we talked, and I shared my vision, and after sharing my vision, you said, I believe in what you're doing, and so she joined the board. And I don't know, I often wonder, and I'm gonna ask, like, do you realize the impact that you had on a new nonprofit executive director out here? I've been in human resources all my life, had no idea what I was doing, but your belief catapulted me forward. And so
thank you.
I was like, I wonder, does she know? That's why I be like, worrying her to death.
No, I had no idea. I'm glad that you recounted that story because I didn't remember exactly. But I mean, you're doing amazing work.
Thank you.
There's no reason to not support.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yes. Do you, when we talk about friendship and women supporting women, and that is a lot of what we're doing in this space for transparency and with Tiffany, my focus whenever starting was women, but a lot of it's gonna be women over 50 and how we just kind of lose ourselves in the shuffle. My thing, what I'm seeing is, and this is me, my story, y'all know I'll tell all of my business, is I lost myself to things and people that didn't even ask me. But I am finding my way back because of friendship. And so I wanted to just ask, do you feel like the friendship is important in the aspects of supporting each other and the voices we need and just the support of women?
Absolutely. I have a close network of friends who I call my day ones that I grew up with in Hampton, Virginia. We're still very tight. It's a group of us, 5 of us. And then I also have my day ones from college who I'm still tight with as well. And my friends have literally gotten me through the darkest days of my life. And I really would not have made it but for their friendship, their wise counsel, their advice, lifting me up when I needed to be lifted up, and quite frankly, fussing me out when I was getting out of line and getting me back in track and holding me accountable because they know who I am at the heart. And when they've seen me steer out of line, they get me right back on track. And I think that's the measure of a true friendship. And so I'm very thankful for those really strong networks that I've had over my life.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. For us, I think about Fisher Projects kind of, it was almost hard to like rebound after COVID. So it was just kind of up and down, up and down. And you would sometimes just, we would meet and you would know that I was off. And you would send me those text messages afterwards. And just would always be like, you know, what do you need? Like you said, to just steer me, because there were times like I just wanted to quit. Like maybe this is it, like maybe I got it wrong. But you would always send me those text messages. So I just want to say that I'm grateful for that. And to just thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you invite that, Tiffany, because I know you joke and say you tell all your business, but you wear who you are. And so we can always trust in how you show up. And so I've been around you enough to know that when you show up, if something is off, that I know something's going on. So I thank you for being authentic.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you don't try to mask things unnecessarily.
Yeah. And I think for women, because we wear so many capes and we show up and we don't put us first. I have, when I look back now and I see how long, I've been saying, Transparent for Tiffany, it's been like 8 or 9 years. And it started like really strong, and then life has happened. And when I look back, I haven't done it as much, which is making me realize that I have lost my voice and how we got here. I am grateful just for the friendships that steer me back in. Yeah. So tell us, have you always had your voice?
I have, actually.
Get out.
Yeah, I've always been very outspoken as a child, which did not always serve me well, as you can imagine, both in school and at home, equally bad in both places. But I've never had any trepidation about challenging the status quo, whether that was in school or even where I work. I think one thing I've gotten better at as I've aged is tempering that voice. So my problem, quite frankly, in my younger years was that I didn't know how to temper it. And so I wasn't always thoughtful about time, place, and manner, which is important. And so I think as I've aged, I've developed that muscle much better. And so I think sometimes it may shock people who have known me for a long time to see that I am much calmer in my delivery, especially when I disagree with something these days. It's still in me. And as I joke with people, every now and again, Kim Bullock will come out. That's my maiden name. But for the most part, yes, I've always had my voice. I've just learned how to use it more effectively as I've aged.
And that's how, has it just changed? Do you see like your voice maybe evolving, or you just?
Sure, I think with maturity, your voice changes some too. And so I think a combination of learning how and when to use it, and just the fact that my views have matured, I think about things differently, has definitely kind of got me to a better place. And I think ultimately, like I said, it makes it more effective on the audience that needs to receive whatever it is I have to say.
Right. You are busy. So you're on a lot of boards, a wife, mom, attorney, and then you serve your illustrious, the North Carolina A&T. How do you prioritize you?
It's very difficult.
Is Raven still here? We just talked about this.
I can't say that I prioritize myself very well. So I turned 50 last year in December. And I was really committed last year and that year leading up to 50 to at least try to get back in shape. So that was what I called the one gift I give to myself, although it's really difficult because I work out with some friends at 5:30 in the morning twice a week, and it is a beast getting up. But I really do feel like it's the gift that I've given myself. Now, during COVID, I took up tennis, and I loved playing tennis. I was playing tennis 5 days a week, and that really was a joy. But then once everything got back to normal, I didn't have the time to be on the tennis court like I did. So I'm hopeful I can turn back to that at some point too. But it is hard. I mean, we're always used to taking care of everybody else and everything first.
Right, right. How are you adapting to the baby? Well, he ain't the baby. He's actually the oldest, but he's always gonna be your baby. Being away at school.
It's interesting. He's a junior now, so I think we've all gotten used to it. I laugh because the equilibrium of the house changes when one leaves. And so I have 3 boys, and with the oldest off to college, we settled into a new routine with the 4 of us. So then when the oldest comes back, you know, you're really happy for the first couple of days, and then you realize the equilibrium of the house is off. So you're like, when you going back? But I'm thankful. He's doing very well. We're so proud of him.
What advice would you give younger Kim?
Oh, I have a good one for this. So by way of context, I graduated from high school, came to A&T. I was a little bit young when I graduated. I was 17 when I started college, and 21, I guess, when I finished. I went straight to law school, so I moved to DC for law school. My older brother was living in DC already at the time, so he and I got an apartment together. And then by the time I graduated from law school, I was engaged and got married that year. So I literally have never lived by myself. And now I'm 50. I mean, thankfully now I still live obviously with my husband and my family, but I think to my younger self, I would have said, take some time, enjoy being a young, independent woman with a job, take risks. I mean, I would have looked for a job out of the country, or even after I got married, before we had kids, I would have taken so many more risks, even with my career, like being willing to jump out on a limb and try something new, knowing that if it didn't work, I would have plenty of time to correct course. Because then I looked up and I had 3 kids and a husband, and in this past year I became a caregiver for my mom now. So I think the options become more limited when you get to a certain season in life. And so definitely, that's what I'm telling my son, like go and enjoy, move around, just explore the world, because you will enter into a different season as you age when those options will become much more limited.
We're telling Michael that, like with him, because we didn't take chances. I mean, you know, I guess that was taking our chances, like leaving small hamlet and coming to Greensboro. I went to Charlotte first. And so, you know, we're wanting Michael to explore, and I do mainly. Now, sometimes I'm like, I don't want him to go too far, but that's very good advice.
Yes.
And I'm saying that, and I'm up here fussing because I want Trey to go right around that corner to Auntie. You hear me? I want that baby right around that corner. Let's take some questions from y'all ready? Okay, I love it. Just hold on, let me get you a microphone.
Good afternoon. My question is, I know you were saying you moved straight to DC and you got an apartment with your brother. How hard was that, like on a level of, you can't tell me what to do with him being the older brother and, you know, wanting to experience, but he was probably that blocker, like, who you think you're bringing up in here? But you're being grown at the same time.
Well, remember I said I've always been very outspoken. So as you can imagine, so I'm the middle child. I have an older brother. He's since passed away, and a younger brother. But I was definitely the most dominant personality of all the children. So if anybody was telling anybody what to do, it was me telling them what to do. But actually, my brother and I did really, really well together.
Wow.
I think it helped that we probably had drastically different personalities.
Yeah.
And we both respected each other's boundaries. It worked out just fine, actually.
Okay. I just thought it was going to be you ready to tell me what to do?
No, I mean, I was the little sister, but kind of the big sister too.
Gotcha.
Probably just because I'm high-strung and outspoken.
All right, Sarah.
Anybody else have anything? Okay.
You talked about turning 50 and prioritizing your health. What do you see next? It sounds like you have a very busy life. You've produced a lot of great accomplishments and opportunities. What do you see next? What's on the horizon?
That's a great question. I was excited to turn 50 just because I feel like this is really going to be my golden decade. Having been through a lot of things, just feeling now very empowered, I think, as I go into age 50. But I'm also exhausted because, as Tiffany said, I'm just doing the most right now. And so I think for me in this chapter, I am definitely learning how to flex that no muscle a little bit more. If it doesn't align with my interests or time, I mean, I have RSVP'd no to more things in 2025, and it feels great, to be honest with you. So that's important. And as I said, I started caregiving for my mother over the past year. And so as I think about this next chapter, it's what is that going to look like for me, and balancing my life and career with honoring my mother. And so it's a little scary to think about that journey. But I'm also so thankful to be able to be her caregiver and to help provide for her. So a lot of question mark really over the next 10 years. And I tend to think about my life, this is crazy, in terms of cars. I'm not into cars. And so I buy a new car every 10 years, period. Like, it can be falling off, you know, the wheels falling off, and I'm gonna make it to 10 years. Or it can be in decent shape, I'm still gonna get a new car in 10 years. And so I got a new car, thinking it was during the pandemic, 2021. And when I had gotten my prior car in 2011, is that right? I was pregnant with my youngest child, who's now 13. And I remember saying to myself, wow, in 10 years, when I get rid of this new car I'm buying, I'm not even gonna have a kid in car seats anymore. At the time, I was preparing for 3 in car seats. So I just couldn't even imagine that I would get to that point. And of course, those 10 years flew by. And I have one even away in college now. And so now when I think about 10 years, when I buy my next car, right, in 2031, I'm like, gosh, my baby will have graduated from high school at that point, and I don't know what the journey will be with my mother. But so there's a lot of question mark, and I'm just trying to focus on the day and be in the moment, because otherwise it gets very scary, I think, to think about too far down the line. So it's just one day at a time.
When the service that you do, is that your passion for serving people, or is it geared more towards just your love for A&T? Or maybe a little bit of both?
Well, I think since I've been involved in a lot of community organizations, it's just my passion to be involved and to give back. Certainly, A&T is the one that's probably closest to my heart, because A&T transformed my life, and it transforms the lives of so many people. And so that's truly my heart work. People ask me all the time, do I work at A&T? And I say, yes, I just don't get a 1099.
Right.
Or a W-2.
Right. Thank you for your service, girl. You do a lot.
Thank you.
One more question before we wrap up.
You stated that you have always been outspoken. Was becoming an attorney always the goal?
Oh, that's a great question. Not at all. So I went to A&T to follow in my father's footsteps. So my dad was an aerospace engineer at NASA, and he had gotten his degree in engineering from A&T. And so daddy's girl through and through, hence I only applied to one college. I'm going to A&T just like dad. I'm majoring in electrical engineering just like dad. And that's what I did. So I did my internships in engineering actually at NASA. And I was fully preparing to get my degree, go back home to Hampton, and hopefully get a job at NASA. But my junior year, I went to a graduate school fair and met someone who was recruiting for the University of Maryland's physics department, and was talking to me about getting a PhD in physics, which is pretty aligned with electrical engineering. But I told him I wasn't interested in getting a PhD, and if I did, I'd probably stick to EE. And he asked me, had I ever thought about combining my engineering degree with law and becoming a patent attorney? And I really didn't even know what a patent attorney was. And he told me that his daughter was a practicing patent attorney in New York. She was a chemical engineer by training. And so I asked this man, may I have your daughter's phone number? Again, outspoken. So he gave me her number. I literally called that woman that evening, introduced myself, and said, your dad gave me your phone number. He told me that you're a patent attorney. Do you mind telling me about the field? She was so gracious and talked to me for a long time about being a patent attorney and why you have to have an engineering or a science degree to become a registered patent attorney. And I hung up the phone with her that night and called my parents and said, I'm going to law school. So that was the spring of my junior year, which meant I was already behind in taking the LSAT. So I went home that summer, did my last engineering internship, studied for the LSAT all summer. I think I took the LSAT at the end of the summer or beginning of the fall, which was still a little bit behind, and applied to law schools that spring and got in. Amazing. So you have to be in the right place at the right time and be ready for what the Lord puts in front of you, because I never would have thought or imagined that I would have become a lawyer.
Yeah. You seem to make those decisions like, this is what I'm doing, this is it, boom, boom, boom. Is that still something that you're just like?
Oh, that's a good question. I wish I were as bold and quick in some other aspects of my life, perhaps, but I've always been strong-willed and goal-oriented. So I think if I do make up my mind to do something, I'm going to do it.
And just sidebar, I love your glasses.
Yes.
Listen, that's part of that turning 50. I realized when I wore my contacts, I could not read any longer without bifocals, so hence the glasses 24/7.
Yes,
And the color.
Thank you.
Want to take one more before we wrap up? Anybody else?
So I know you mentioned that you were a caregiver to your mom. How hard has that been? Because I'm a caregiver for my mom, and it can be so trying and so hard. And at the same time, you want to put yourself first, but in the back of my mind, it's like, oh God, she raised me. She only did good, so it's only fair that I give that much more back to her. How hard has that been or is to you?
Whew, that's a great question. I could need a tissue on that one.
Oh, don't.
I'll start by saying it really is an honor to be able to be here for my mother. And she's doing great. We moved her here from Hampton last year. And she lives a mile away from me because I knew she needed to be very close for as long as she can live independently with my constant, in and out with her multiple times a week. But just to back up, when I had my kids, so I had my youngest two kids back to back, they're 18 months apart. So at one point I had a newborn, an 18-month-old, and an 8-year-old. And my mother lived in Hampton, which is 4 hours away. And my husband at the time was traveling a good bit for work. And so my mother would drive to Greensboro. She would stay 3 weeks at a time, sometimes a month. And when I tell you this woman did everything, I literally would not have survived that time period without her. And that's not the reason why I'm so honored to give back, but it's part of why I'm happy to do it. Yeah. That doesn't mean that it's always easy, as you can imagine. And the Lord is working on me big time, even since September, and getting my mind and my mouth right on how I interact with my mom. And I actually started therapy. I started therapy about a month ago because I knew I needed some help just in navigating, not just being a caregiver, but all of the things that are compiled right now. And that's been really helpful in talking through it as well. But I love her, I'm so thankful for her, and I tell her all the time, my job is just to make sure that you are happy and healthy, period. And I will do whatever I have to do to keep it that way.
That's good, yeah. Okay, last question. You just turned 50. To the sister who is on her way to come into the 50 Club with us, what piece of advice would you give her?
Don't wait to call the OBGYN when you start having those hot flashes.
Did y'all see I had one? I was about to start fanning a few minutes ago. I had to get myself together.
Listen, I was in suffrage for about 2 months, and I said, I cannot live like this. So don't delay. No, I would just say embrace it. That's, frankly, speaking of menopause, that was part of the reason why I was so insistent on getting in shape, because we know what menopause physically does to the body in terms of bone density and muscle mass. And I said, not me. I'm going to be in shape. I'm going to be strong going into this, next chapter of life. And so I really think focusing on physical health on approaching 50 is critically important.
Good. All righty. This brings us to the end of season 2. Right now. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm gonna leave it at that because, honey, I'll be in here crying. Okay,
we both will be.
But I am grateful for you. The Fisher Projects is all over the place, and you don't serve on our board anymore, but you still support us, and that still means the world to me. But more than anything, I am grateful that I can call you in my times of need. And Kim is that friend, again, that knows me, and I might be texting, but she gonna call if she is not getting that feeling. Bump that text, no, that phone is gonna ring. And so I am so grateful for that. So thank you for being here and just sharing with us a little bit today. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to the audience for being here. My final shout out before we wrap up this season, I want to shout it out loud and proud. I want y'all to help me give a round of applause for 121 Media Group. I get so many questions all of the time asking me who's doing our production and makes us look so good. And so I'm grateful for them. Look them up, follow them. They are amazing. But I want to tell them thank you for pushing me towards this and making my dream come true and going on this journey with me. And so as we leave this space, that is one I want to leave with everybody here in the audience and to those who will be watching. Until we get back to season 3, I hope that you will find time for yourself to follow your dream and to make sure that you are putting you first. I am Tiffany, and this has been Transparency with Tiffany, the podcast.